I think sometimes we seek solace in suburbs. We seek suburbs to potentially be safe.
But that idea of safety was shattered in the Boston suburb of Newton last weekend when a seemingly random attack left 3 senior citizens brutally murdered, including one couple celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary.
But yeah, I think stabbing someone over 30 times is absolutely overkill. I don't think that that's a buzzword.
At about 10:15 a.m. on June 25th, a neighbor went to check up on 73-year-old Gilda Jill DeMore and her husband, 74-year-old Bruno DeMore. The pair were a no-show at church that morning, where they were expected to celebrate their golden wedding anniversary. Inside, the neighbor found the DeMores and Gilda's 97-year-old mother, Lucia Arpino, stabbed and beaten to death.
I think it's what's also very sad about this, although death is always sad, is that, they seem to be elderly. The ages of the victims are in their 70s and I think the 90s, of one of them. And that to me is absolutely overkill. It would be most likely easy for someone like himself, who's in his early-ish 40s, to be able to subdue someone like that. And so it's overkill.
Former CIA officer and FBI special agent Tracy Walder tells Law&Crime Network a triple homicide like this is rare.
Especially in a place like Newton, which is, I guess we can say, it's very high socioeconomic area. Single family homes, really not a lot of high crime. Most crime would be things like grand larceny, theft, those kinds of things, not typically murder. So yes, a triple homicide is unusual.
After news of the murders broke, investigators warned Newton residents to lock their doors and stay vigilant. But by Monday, investigators had a suspect in custody, 41-year-old Christopher Ferguson. Officials say he had no connection with any of the victims.
It could be rage, it could be some kind of psychotic break, or it could be that a knife was there as a weapon of opportunity, right? I don't know if he brought a weapon to this crime scene. It's hard to say. But yeah, I think stabbing someone over 30 times is absolutely overkill. I don't think that that's a buzzword.
Officials tracked Ferguson down after he was discovered on surveillance video outside the home at about 5:20 a.m. Sunday morning. In the video, Ferguson is seen without a shirt on or shoes and appears to be staggering. Officials also found Ferguson's bloody footprints at the crime scene.
But based on things that I've worked in the past, that tells me that this is probably not a premeditated type of situation, simply because in those types of cases, we see people taking really all of their possessions, all of their evidence, or attempting to take evidence with them. In this case, Mr. Ferguson left his boots allegedly at the scene. Also found very close by was his backpack, suitcase that all contained his ID. And so, yes, it's obviously highly unusual. I believe he was shoeless and shirtless, from what I understand. And the security camera sort of caught him with a staggering gait, if you will. And so, yes, it's highly unusual to leave all of that identifying information at the scene of a crime.
Inside the home, investigators say there were signs of forced entry and a struggle. Officials noted disarray in a bedroom, broken furniture, and a bloody paperweight. Investigators also found Arpino with a knife, quote, embedded in her body. An autopsy showed she was stabbed more than 30 times.
Would be most likely easy for someone like himself, who's in his early-ish 40s, to be able to subdue someone like that. And so it's overkill. It could be rage. It could be some kind of psychotic break, or it could be that a knife was there as a weapon of opportunity, right? I don't know if he brought a weapon to this crime scene. It's hard to say. But yeah, I think stabbing someone over 30 times is absolutely overkill. I don't think that that's a buzzword.
Ferguson may have a history with mental health issues. In 2005, he was charged with assault and battery and ordered to undergo drug and mental health evaluations. Ferguson's neighbors also told the Boston Globe his family repeatedly tried to get him mental health care.
It's hard to say, obviously, for certain. I've never met Mr. Ferguson. And, I think just in looking at his past, this is someone who has struggled with a mental illness. And to his family's credit, it sounds like they have been very proactive in regards to trying to get him help and keep him employed. And he's been, in and out of mental health facilities. We have to be careful, because just because you struggle with a mental health issue does not make you, someone who commits a triple homicide. Those two are not mutually exclusive. But it sounds like in interviews with his ex-girlfriend from really January, February 2023 on, there was a drastic change in terms of how he was caring for himself and his mental illness. He had stopped taking medication, lots of rants and things like that on blog posts, journals, Facebook. And so clearly something had become unchecked in terms of his mental health.
Right now, Ferguson is undergoing a mental health evaluation. He's been charged with murder, 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon causing serious bodily injury, and burglary.
And a lot of times, especially in a case like this, they will get what we call like that slam dunk charge, right? They're going to most likely get a conviction on burglary because he forced his way into property that wasn't his and may have been found with property, of some dollar value. And so that would be my guess in terms of why that charge is there. But again, I'm just hypothesizing. It could have been a motive. Maybe he needed money for something. Maybe it was a crime of opportunity. Maybe a door was open. Maybe a door was unlocked. I think it's kind of twofold here in terms of why we see that charge.
Officials say Ferguson could face even more charges after autopsies for the D'Amore couple are complete.
You could be looking at elder abuse charges here. That's something that could be brought in. It would depend in terms of autopsies. Are they seeing things like ligature marks? Are they seeing that they were tied up? Are they seeing that they were potentially tortured before they were butchered? Those are all things that could be added on in terms of charges. And it really comes down to what the medical examiner says.
Walder says based on the timing of the crime, all 3 victims were likely caught off guard.
I do think that a lot of times people do use the cover of darkness because also our guard is down when we're sleeping, right? Theoretically we're sleeping at that era. Although I have a child, so I'm not, but theoretically most people are sleeping, right? At 5:20. And so their guard is down, right? And that's why I think even at nighttime, we need to be practicing, those safe procedures.
Ferguson appeared in court on Tuesday via Zoom, where his defense attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. Right now, he's being held without bail. Reporting for Law&Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.